Let's talk about my boy Bartolomeo. I always enjoy when Barto's in the picture because he's just such an interesting character. From his attitude and his appearance, he's just not what he appears to be at first glance. So we first meet Barto when we make it to Dressrosa, where he's participating in a tournament in the Coliseum. And he's fighting for the devil fruit called the Flame Fruit. And the Flame Fruit used to belong to Ace, which is Luffy's brother, once upon a time before he had died at Marineford. Anyway, so when we first meet Barto, he's painted as this terrible person that you just would not want to be around. He's like one of those obnoxious teenagers that just don't have no home training. And if you ever watched or read Dressrosa, I can almost guarantee you were not rooting for Barto. You're probably rooting for Bellamy. I know I was. And the reason for that is because Barto just seemed like such a savage at the time, and not in a good way. You know, and Bellamy, on the other hand, he seemed almost redeemed. At first, he was a terrible shit character, but when it came to Dressrosa, he seemed like he had his head on straight, at least a little bit. But during Dressrosa, this is the thing that threw all of us for a loop. So these two contenders that were walking by Barto were pretty much throwing dirt on Luffy's name, and Barto wasn't standing for that. So what Barto did was he had pinned him up against the wall with his devil fruit and was like, hey look, you can't be talking mess about Luffy, bro. That's my man's. I can't stand for that. Barto was about to cut this man's tongue out for talking shit about Luffy. That was what made me respect him. That's what made me like Barto. I was still confused about it because he didn't seem like the type of character to care that much about somebody else other than himself. So later on, we found out that Barto's entire purpose for being there in Dressrosa in the first place was to get the devil fruit for Luffy. Now my question was, why is it that Barto is so loyal to Luffy and he has never met Luffy in his entire life? Well, it all started in Logtown. So Logtown is basically where Barto had got his start, and it's also where Roger, the King of the Pirates, is from. See, Barto had ran his own gang there, and he was pretty much taking over little towns and, you know, just wreaking havoc all over the place. Well, Luffy and the Straw Hats at the time had showed up at Logtown at the same time that Barto was there, and you know, they was exploring the place, getting to know the area, and Luffy just wanted to go see where Roger was executed at, which is this big tall platform, and he had to climb it. It was like, I want to say 5 or 6 stories high. I exaggerated a little bit, it's not that tall. But the point is that it was a really tall platform. So Luffy decided to climb the platform. He ended up being trapped by Buggy. Buggy was about to execute him. There was this like lightning strike that hit Buggy, and it saved Luffy from being executed. So Barto happened to be around when that happened, and when he had seen this, he was just like, oh my god, that is such a miracle. The way Barto saw this, it was almost as if the gods themselves saved Luffy and was like, we want you to become the king of the pirates. It was like fate. And ever since then, Barto's been paying attention to everything, literally everything that Luffy's been doing all the way up until the current story. From Alabasta to Marineford to Sabaody and so on and so forth. He also been keeping up with the rest of the Straw Hat crew too. Like he has every single one of their bounty posters hung up on his wall, right? And he basically worships that thing like a shrine. It's crazy. He also has a bunch of like news articles and stuff like that to keep up with their activities. This man is a fanboy. Like I like to compare him to us as the audience because he is so goddamn devoted to the Straw Hats. So in his most recent chapter, Barto had wound up putting his life on the line for Luffy. See, he had burned somebody's flag that he should not have burned. He had burned Shanks' flag on Gartel Island, right? Which is one of Shanks' territories. And as an emperor of the sea, you have a reputation to uphold. If you don't uphold this reputation, then people are going to start disrespecting you. They're going to throw dirt in your name like it's just okay. So of course, some people in Shanks' crew had beat up Barto and them. And then one of them was like, look, we want you to give this bottle of poison to Luffy, and we want you to do it before the end of the month. But come on, bro, we all knew Barto wasn't doing his mans like that. So what Barto did was he had took the poison out of the dude's hand, drunk the entire bottle, and was like, hey look, I can't do my man's Luffy like that. I'm gonna die, but Luffy's gonna live on. I will not disrespect his time like that. I want all of y'all to go on without me. Life goes on. The crazy thing is Barto didn't even hesitate. He just chugged it, took it to the head. He didn't give a single thought to his own life. All he cared about was the fact that he wanted Luffy to live on. If that's not loyalty, I don't know what is. And if my girl ain't that loyal to me, I don't want her. You can have her. Slam. But seriously though, so we end up finding out that the poison is actually fake and that Shanks wasn't gonna poison Luffy because Luffy is Shanks' guy. He wanted to test Barto. He wanted to test Barto's loyalty, and he wanted to see if Luffy has people backing him up that deserve to be there in his presence. Basically, Shanks doesn't want Luffy to be around a bunch of... He doesn't want Luffy to be around a bunch of punks. Because at the end of the day, if you're aiming to become king of the pirates, you gotta have ride or dies by your side. You gotta have people that are willing to lay their life down for you. People that are willing to die for you, to kill for you, and everything in between. But yeah, man, Barto's love for Luffy is so profound that it made Shanks smile. Shanks really appreciated the fact that Barto was there for Luffy, although Barto is pretty much an op. Listen, Barto loves Luffy so much that Barto had made his entire ship after Luffy. His ship is literally Luffy, bro. And quite honestly, I hope Barto survives. I hope we get to see more from him in the future because he is really an amazing character when you think about it. Like, Oda can do so much with his character that it would create a hell of an impact story-wise. In all honesty, Barto has a lot of potential and I would love to see it. I swear to God, the only devotion that I've ever seen like this was Misa towards Light and Death Note. But yeah, we got more story to cover. We got a new chapter coming out soon and shit, I'm excited, bro. Shit, so until next time, I will catch y'all later. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll be back.